Hey guys, Coach here, back with another training session, and we're going to do a little warm-up to get started. This is actually going to be your very first topic you probably have come to if you're just joining the class, and it's one that realistically, if you're here with us, you're probably not spending very much time on this, and this is really more of a review. We're going to cover just the four basic operations that everything else in math is built off of: the add, subtract, multiply, and divide. And if you're wanting to follow along with the problems we're going to be working, it is in the file that's attached. We're not going to work every single problem because I don't think we need to, but we will skip around and kind of pick and choose. But if you want to do the practice, you can do all the problems for yourself, and then the answers are going to be at the top of the next page. But these are your four things that you learned elementary school, and it is the building blocks of all other math. In fact, everything in math is just adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing, put in a different order. That is everything. Every other calculus, advanced thing, no matter what you're doing, it's some kind of version of these four, which is why we want you to make sure you're really solid with them. These shouldn't be things that you have to think too much on. Now, we're not going to do things like 1 plus 1, 2 plus 2, because you know all that kind of stuff. You know the basic movements of how to do this. We're going to do a few review things, like a couple of key things. When you're talking about adding and subtracting, the biggest thing for these, and I'm going to try to keep everything nice and centered here for you, is just line it up. Realistically, most of the time you're probably doing a lot of this in your head. These will pop up on the section that's not calculator, but most of the test is a calculator section, so you won't, if you're feeling nervous or whatever, punch it in the calculator and you can just move on with your day. But on the section that you don't get the calculator on, make sure to line things up. So let's bypass these lower level ones. I'm going straight to the hard section. So if I look at practice problem number 1 under the hard level, it's a 3 by 3 on the adding. In this case, number 1, it says 673 plus 259. You stupid fly, get away from me. Man, Virginian flies, right guys? They're everywhere. Realistically, you're just lining everything up. If you keep it all in order, it works really well. Now, I know there's been some talk recently in recent years about, well, how do you teach this? There's this talk about new math and such. Math has been the same for, we're talking thousands of years. So we're not changing anything. We're sticking with the straight basic way that works. Lining it up, add each section, and move on with your day. 9 plus 3, 9, 10, 11, 12. I put my 2 here, I carry my 1. 7 plus 5, well, that's 12, plus my 1 gives me 13. Carry my 1. 6 plus 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9. And if I just ballpark this, 673 is about 700. 259 is like, that rounds to 250. So 700 plus 200, 900. So we're in the ballpark. Just using some estimating, I can see 923 is in my ballpark. Now, if I want to go to my answer key, number 1, I see, 932. 932. Bada bing. Adding, keep it in order, line it up, take your time, you get it. So now let's do the same thing with subtracting. So I'm going to go to practice problem number 2 on the hard section, which has 814 minus 376. Now for these, you'll notice we're not going to get into negative numbers. There's a separate lesson we'll get into where we discuss the negative numbers, which don't happen too much on the non-calculator section. There will be, but not like a huge number. You'll see when we get there. But here we're going to do the same thing. I've got the big number on top. I've got my small number on bottom. I line it up and I go about my day. Biggest thing here is I may have to borrow. Borrowing's that term where like, 4 and 6. Well, I can't take 6 from my 4, so I need to borrow a set of 10 from over here. So really, I'm not taking 6 from 4. I'm going to take 6 from 14. So I'm going to borrow 1 here. That becomes a 0. And since I borrowed a set of 10 from there, that becomes 14. You did this. This is probably like 4th grade. You were doing a lot of this. Then 14 minus 6. Well, 4, 6, that's 8. Make sure I'm right. Yeah, 4, 6, 8. Yeah, and I double check myself. Not a big deal to do that. I might even count on my fingers if I need to, because this is the test. I want my GED right. If it only takes me 5, 10 seconds to double check that simple thing, I'm going to do that. All right, now I've got 0 left in my 10 section. I'm trying to take 7 from it. I can't do that. So I'm going to borrow again. This 8 becomes a 7, and this 0 now becomes a 10. So 10 minus 7 gives me 3. I'm left with 7 over here. 7 minus 3 leaves me with 4. So 814 minus 376 leaves me with 438. I'm going to just check that in my answer key for number 2. Number 2 says 438. Bada bing, that checks out. Okay, adding and subtracting, no big deal. You keep it lined up, you're going to be golden on there. Now let's actually get to the multiplying and dividing. Sometimes you can get some big numbers on that, and the same thing is you want to keep it in order. It may not necessarily be perfectly lined up, but you want to keep things in order. So to do that, we're going to look at some of these hard ones. Now, the hard ones are actually not as hard as you probably can do. When you were in elementary school, you probably went up to 3 digits times 3 digits. Well, on the GED section for this test, on the non-calculator section, you're really only going to be dealing with maybe a double digit by a single digit, maybe 2 double-digit numbers. So when this example was created, it was based on the parameters of the GED test and the hardest thing you might see in that particular level. So I'm actually going to start with this one. Number 3 on my examples, 18 times 9. So on number 3 here, I've got 18 times 9. Now, when I'm doing this by hand, you'll notice I'm always setting it up vertically. I'm not going to set up horizontally like this 18 times 9 that it showed you on the practice sheet. That's a distractor, and they might show it to you like that, because if you got to work it, you want to set it up vertically, because that's how you keep it in order. So now I go 9 times 8. I'm like, oh gosh, 9 times 8. I don't remember what that is. I'm going to use my little finger trick. And if you've never seen the finger trick, this is super cool. So this only works when you're timesing it by 9. So on the 9s, 9 times 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I tuck that 8. So over here I have 7 fingers, and then I have 2 fingers. That's 72. I know, it's cool. The finger trick really works. So it only works on the 9s though. 9 times 8 gives me 72. So I'm going to put my 2 down here. I'm going to carry my 7. 9 times 1, well, anything times 1 is itself, so that's 9. But I'm not going to multiply that 9 times this 7. I'm adding it. So 9 times 1 is 9, plus 7 is 16. 162. Let's check it in our answers for number 3, 162. Okay, now you're probably going to want to take some time and work some of the other ones as well. But realistically, the non-calculator section, we're only talking like 5 problems. And so you don't want to kill yourself making sure you can do like 3 digit by 20 digits. You're not going to see something crazy like that. You're going to see 2 digit by 1 digit. Maybe you see, and this one's not on the sheet, but we're just going to work another example. So we'll call this 3.5. Example 3.5. Let's say we have that 14, and let's multiply it by 22. Nothing too crazy. Well, we're keeping it in order. I start from my bottom corner. Now, we may have not done this for a while, so you may be trying to remember it. So we start from the bottom corner, and we work up and out, up and out. So 2 times 4 is 8. I have nothing to carry. 2 times 1 is 2. Great, I'm done with this one. I'm done with the 1 section. Now I'm moving over to my tens number, which I have a 2 in the 10 spot here. So I don't have anything in the 0 spot for this next line. So now I'm working my 10, so I go 2 times 4. So I'm going up and then over. I'm working up and then over. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 1 is 2. I add these. There's 8. 2 plus 8 is 10, carry my 1, and 3. 308. Now, what does this really break down to? This line right here, this is 14 times 2. Because really, I'm taking this top number 14, I'm multiplying it by my 1's place, the 2. Then I'm going to add that to this line right here, which equals my 14 times, well, I'm multiplying by this 2 that's in the 10 spot, 2 tens, which is 20. And so when I add these are called, the technical term is partial products, meaning these are my little pieces that add together to make this. My partial products give me my total thing. Now, if you have another way you learned it and it works good for you, don't change it now, okay? Coach has a little saying, when the end of the game comes, you dance with the girl that brought you. Or then when the dance comes, you dance with the girl that brought you. That was an old saying that, when the end of the game happens, you don't put in something you've never used before right at the end. You stick with what works that goes good. All right, now let's move on to our last section here, because this is really more of a warm-up review, and that is our division. Now, division can be a little bit trickier. I'm going to jump back to I'm going to go back to our medium grade division. I'm going to start with problem 4 from the medium, which is 96 divided by 8. So this is 4M for 4 medium. Okay, so I've got 96 divided by 8. I don't like this. Now, if I know this off the top of my head, it's like, oh, I know that one. Great. Skip over this. But if you don't quite remember, it's like, the most important thing, like all the other stuff we just did, is line it up, keep it organized. We're actually going to do 96 divided by 8. That's where we do the little house. So the guy inside the house is what's being divided by. So now we can take our 8 and see how many we can get in here. So we're taking this set of 96 and seeing how many groups of 8 can we make. Well, let's start with just my 9. How many groups of 8 can I make out of 9? I can take one group of 8 out of this 9. So 8 times my 1, so I'm taking out 8. So when I took out one group, that was a total of 8 from this 9. Oops. 9 minus 8 gives me 1. That's what I'm left with. But then I've got this other number, so I got to bring down my 6. 8 goes into 16. So how many times does 8 go into 16? Or how many sets of 8 can I get out of 16? So you might remember you were taught to probably think backwards in that it's 8 times what number gives me 16? Oh, 8 times 2. I can get 2 sets of 8 out of this 16, so that's 2. 8 times 2 is 16. Subtract that out. It zeroes out. When I zero out, it means I'm done. So 96 divided by 8 equals 12. One more thing, guys. When you're doing this on the GED, you're going to have this white sheet here where you're filling out all your stuff. Your tester will have more sheets for you. Don't erase all your work. Take what room you need for each problem and ask for more sheets as you need it. And if you want to write to the side like this, and I've seen some people do it that way, that's totally cool too. Do what works for you. Make this work for you. All right, so that's our division. Let's do now a harder division. But the concept is the same. We're breaking it into groups. We're keeping everything organized. So, let me double check and make sure that my 4 medium is correct. We said it was 12. My answer key, here's 4. It's 12. We got that right. Yay. Little smiley face for Coach. All right. So now let's go to our 4 hard. 4 hard, got the H there. In this one, I have 225 divided by 15. I don't like it written sideways like this. Actually, I am going to write it sideways, but slightly different. I need to set up my house. So I go my 225, because when I read this, 225 divided by 15. We always read left to right, which is why they write the problems more like this, using the little line with the 2 dots, because that lets you just read it naturally left to right. Whenever you set up inside the house, you're actually reading inside the house first, and then you gotta know that means divide by this outside number, which can be a little bit awkward. So a lot of times they will write it this way. All right, so 15 going into 225. I don't know my 15s off the top of my head. That's not like a multiplication fact I know, but I'm still doing the same thing. 15, can I get any sets of 15 out of 2? No. Some people might put an X. I tend to just put a 0, and that keeps everything lined up. Some people put nothing. I would encourage you to put a 0 or an X, just because if you put nothing, sometimes it's easy to get your numbers out of place and you're not sure if you're really done. Now let's go 15 into 22. Now I can get a set of 15 out of 22, one set of 15 out of 22. So I can get one set. 15 times 1 is 15. So I'm going to subtract out this set of 15. All right. 22 minus 15. Now I could do my actual subtraction and borrow and stuff, but I can also count up 15 to 22, that's 7. Because I can go 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Yes, Coach just used his fingers for something simple because he's making sure he stays organized. All right, so I'm left with 7. I can now bring down this 5. 15 into 75. I don't know that off the top of my head. That's okay, because just over here on the side, I can do this. 15 plus 15 gives me 30. Plus 15. Yes, and this may seem simple or rudimentary, but it works. That's 45. Plus another 15, because I'm not 75 yet, gives me 60. Make sure I can still see this on the camera. And then, let me move this up slightly. Let's add another 15, because I'm not 75 yet, plus 15. Oh, that's 75. So how many 15s did I use? So how many 15s did I actually get out of that 75? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 15 times 5 is 75. I can subtract that out. It zeroes out, so I know I'm done. Yeah, Coach did write this out. It's simple. I use my fingers. I write out the little addition stuff because this is my GED test. I'm not going to risk it on this one test and be macho and be like, I'm just going to think of it in my head and then I'm done. No, I'm going to do my stuff. That's like going through the free throw line and not setting up your shot, just grabbing the ball and throwing it, not caring. Or this is like a field goal kicker who doesn't line up their shot. You do the little stuff that's simple. All right. So now let's check it. We're saying 4 hard was 15 is our answer. So let's go over to our answer sheet. 4 hard is 15. There it is. And there you go, guys. A little mental warm-up, not too long, but now you've remembered all your adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing. You've got some practice stuff here you can go through. There will be a quiz for you to do. It'll be a simple 4-question quiz. I'm putting up 4 problems next to here in your assignment sheet. Do them. It will, when you put in your answers, it will grade it for you and tell you what you got. Write down your stuff. Don't do it in your head, guys. Don't do this. Just keep yourself organized. I'm telling you it'll work. And if any of you are working with one of the tutors, they might want to see you send this stuff in. So don't throw it out. I suggest just having a little simple notebook like this. But anyways, that's it for our basic operations, guys. And honestly, that's going to be one of your questions on your test. So boom, 1 done. There's several of your points right there. A few of your points. One of those is going to be a question. All right. This is Coach You got this. Keep training, and we'll see you next time.